Chandler, this might be an impossible question to answer right now because, we just heard Dusty Baker talking about it earlier today, but the concern level for Lance McCullers Jr. after Dusty Baker said he was sore after his first bullpen session, where are you at with him right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to jump to conclusions one way or the other. I did find it odd that, he has not been on the field the last 2 days. I don't even think I know he's in West Palm Beach. I know he's here, but I don't think I've even seen him, laid eyes on him in the 2 days that we've been able to access the facility. So I hope we can talk to him in the next couple of days and kind of get a little bit more clarity. Dusty made sure to tell us, don't be alarmed, don't sound alarm bells, but, he had to answer the question, and he answered it, and, there's a lot we don't know right now, like what exactly is sore? Is it the elbow? Is it the forearm? Like, what is it? And, the way Dusty described it, he did make it sound like, it was just kind of some general soreness. But anytime that's kind of in the same sentence with McCullers, with his history, obviously the red flags are going to raise. So I don't know how high to raise the red flags yet, but I don't want to hold off on that before I talk to him. But, it's obviously not what you want to hear, but hopefully we'll get some answers soon.
Chandler, is it fair to say that baseball season has officially started with Lance being hurt and Dusty did not give you guys clear answers earlier?
Oh, man. I mean, you have no idea. Baseball season, is all back.
Death, taxes, and Lance McCullers dealing with an injury. He's apparently already hurt. This was Dusty Baker with members of the Astros media earlier today, a little back and forth talking about Lance's apparent injury.
Is that just a normal after bullpen soreness, or is it something that's going to keep him
out
for a while?
No, we don't know. We don't know yet.
What's sore, like, specifically?
Sore?
What part of his body is sore? Just his elbow? Or
yeah, it's the same thing.
But it's not an alarm for you guys?
No, not really. Yeah, we'll have to just see it. We got to chill. Don't make something you ask me.
I have been in Dusty Baker's position before, where I've had to lie about things. And I tried to look surprised when I was asked specifically about the thing I was lying about. Dusty Baker's version was sore? Body part?
I think he reacted like he thought the reporter asked what the definition of sore was. And he's like, what's sore? Sore? You don't know what that means? How do you not know what that means?
Little sore after he threw a bullpen session on Tuesday, according to Dusty Baker. And then Baker didn't specifically say what's sore other than to say, quote, it's the same thing. Now, Dusty's trying to act like he's not concerned, but here we go again, because every time Dusty Baker talks about injuries, you don't ever truly know what's real and what's not. This is a guy who last year famously said that Michael Brantley didn't have a setback. He just didn't have a go forward. He never played baseball again last year.
And McCullers, obviously, has a pretty long history of injuries. Missed all of the 2019 season, missed the first 2 months of 2022 with an injury as well, and you're hearing that it's something related to what McCullers Jr. was dealing with last year. It's hard not to be a little bit nervous about what's going on with him. So this is bad news, fellas. I know Dusty Baker is trying to poo-poo it and downplay it and make it sound like it's nothing, but with this guy and with this team, right? It's a combination of things. It's McCullers' injury history and also the way the Astros, Jake, you gave a perfect example with Michael Brantley last year. But the way this team has handled injury news over the past couple of years, it's hard not to be skeptical that this really is not a big deal at all, Cody.
Well, after this season, it's only 3 more years of is Lance hurt or is not Lance hurt.
You're already counting down?
I mean, this is going to be a thing for the rest of his career. Anytime there's a soreness, a this or that, does he have to have Tommy John again? Does he have to have a long rest again? Is it simply going to be rest, or does he have to have some type of surgery? Like, that's going to be what happens for the rest of Lance McCullers' career, unfortunately. Every time something doesn't go right, we're going to have 50 questions about the guy's future for that season.
I was about to call him American League Jacob deGrom, and then I remembered, Jacob deGrom is now in the American League. And he's already hurt, too. Those are like the two signs baseball's back. DeGrom, he's hurt. McCullers, he's seemingly hurt.
Yeah, and the Astros rotation isn't as deep this year as it was last year because, obviously, he lost Justin Verlander. Like, I still think they have the horses if this is something relatively serious for McCullers that causes him to miss the start of the season, and I'll knock on wood that it's not. I still think they'll be fine, but obviously, without JV, this rotation is one less deep than it was when McCullers had to miss a few months to open up last season.
Like, your history dictates how we talk about you. If you told me tomorrow Luis Garcia is a little sore, I'd be like, okay, well, he had to change his windup, so maybe that has something to do with it. Nothing. But Lance has had arm problems basically every year he's been in baseball.
Well, if you remember last year, he blamed the lockout for the reason why he wasn't fully healthy because he couldn't use the Astros facility during the lockout. The guy didn't pitch until like August last year. Like, it wasn't the lockout, Lance. You just had a huge setback in your recovery. That's what ended up being the thing that came out from that.
They talked about surgery last year. Like, that was a conversation, too, when McCullers was detailing what he went through. There were times where it wasn't going well, and they had a conversation about surgery for McCullers last year. Like, okay, have things gotten significantly better over the offseason? And look, the hope is, hey, this is just spring training stuff. It happens. A guy came in, pushed a little too hard day one. He's sore. He's got a history of arm problems. Let's hold him out for a couple days. He doesn't need to be running around in spikes and fielder pitching practice and all that kind of stuff. Hold him out for a couple days. That's what you hope it is. But your history dictates how we react to these things. And Lance McCullers' history dictates a laundry list of questions every time his arm is hurt. Every time his arm is sore.
Is he ready for opening day?
We just don't have enough information right now. I don't want to speculate on exactly what this is. I mean, I'm skeptical. I think we're all a little bit skeptical and nervous, but I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic here.
If he's, I believe he'll be ready. This is not, I don't think it's anything to just freak out about yet. But again, the history gives you uneasy feelings about any sort of soreness, especially when it's the elbow and it's Lance McCullers Jr. This means if Lance was down for some portion of the year, you still have that guy that's ready to slide in. Like, there's not a question about who the guy is. Like, the guy that's sliding into the rotation is Hunter Brown.
Yeah.